Hi guys. So we're gonna do this presentation. The backdrop is in English and will be English and Dutch, right? For to cater to all of your needs. I just want to make one comment before we start. You're all here because you're hopefully going into year 2. But because we're going to make the classes after the BSR meetings, right now you're not sure, and we're also not sure if you're going to start with International Boardroom or Creative Agency. So you're going to get information today on both modules, and at the end of July I will send all of you an email to tell you which class you are in and automatically which module you will start with in September. Yes?
Modules again be like one class is one module, the other one?
Yes.
Yeah, but
So-
it'll be over a semester as opposed to a term.
All of the Dutch students from CB will start with Creative Agency, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so all the Dutch students start with Creative Agency and do International Boardroom in semester 2. The international classes, since there's so many of you, half of you will start with International Boardroom, the other half will start with Creative Agency, but you will hear from me at the end of July. Yeah? So Robert, you can start.
Okay. Are there Dutch persons here that from the CB? Do you understand the English language, more or less? I have a Dutch accent, so it wouldn't be that that difficult. Okay. Oh, it was already there.
Yeah, it's there.
What are we going to do? International Boardroom. That's semester minor, and it's all at a strategic level. So it's a little bit higher, and you have to make sure for yourself that you're the management of a big company, and that company is going to export to another country. So your assignment is quite simple. Give us an export plan. Very simple. That's all. But it should be based on research, of course, and on a lot of arguments. I have a couple of, this I took from the manual, couple of examples. Have you ever heard of the British Bake Off? For the Dutchies, Heel Holland Bakt. It was a sort of a format, and was very successful in the UK. And they thought, well, we want to make some money with it. When you see me, it's always about money, of course. So how do we make some money with it? It's just exporting the format to a couple of different countries. They did it in the Netherlands as well, and it was a big success. That might be an example. If a company has a format, what other countries can be successful? We saw it a couple of weeks ago, about 5-6 weeks ago, the very successful musical, The Soldier of Orange, Soldaat van Oranje. And they said, with this special things, with a turning screen audience, special concept, so successful for years in the Netherlands, and they always say, okay, the last 3 months, buy your tickets now, and then it will be extended for under half a year. And they're going to start in the UK as well next year. So that could be a possibility as well. So that's actually all you have to do. Come up with a great plan for the product of the company or the service. How can they make money in another country? Clear? Simple? Thought so. Most important topics. Of course, finance. If you say it might be interesting over there, how much money are you going to spend? How much money will it cost? Will there be a profit this year, next year, or whatever, or never? So you have to calculate it. And keep in mind, we're directly going from the P phase directly to the bachelor phase. So you have to make sure that the final is at the end level of your bachelor degree with everything. And it counts for Creative Agency as well. So the speed will be a little bit higher, more thinking, less learning, consuming, thinking at bachelor level. Research, of course, very important. This year you had your basics about APA, where do you find your sources, etc. We will give you only 2 classes, just as a sort of a recap, and then it's all up to you, because it will be 16 weeks of research. First of your home country, and then of the new country. Legal, is it allowed to go abroad with the product? All the companies will be in a creative business, but suppose we have a little brewery of beer, and you say, I want to go to Germany. Is that allowed? No, they have this Reinheitsgebot, one special law that says beer must be specific. So if your ID is Germany, no go. If your client is a band and you want to go to the US, the singer might go, but if you have a guitar player in the US, they will say, the unions, we have enough guitar players here. So the whole band, no way. So you have to find a way around it. That's the part of legal. Strategy, how are you going to approach the market? What sort of strategy? I'm going for the best product or more customer relation, etc. And we have a lot of classes in that as well. So those are the main topics that we're going to discuss. In the beginning, you write in 4 weeks all you know about the company. What is the product? What is their strategy, mission, vision? The whole thing that you had this time in all areas for about 7 weeks, it has to be there in 4 weeks. And all based on the strengths and weaknesses of the company. You write it down in an organizational report, and that's your first test. After 4 weeks, so 3 weeks relaxing, and then 1 week really working, isn't it? Next one, after 8 weeks, in the beginning, the company gives a presentation. This is our company for about an hour. The rest is up to you to find it out. 8 weeks later, or 7 weeks later, you're going to present as a team which country is the most promising according to you. You present it live to the company and they will respond, and we will respond as well. That's a pitch, and after you've done it, then you got another about 8-9 weeks to make sure that you all work it out with the finance, all the legal stuff and all the strategy, including a marketing mix. How are you going to promote it in a new country? So how will the Soldier of Orange musical must be promoted in the UK? That's your plan, and that's what you're going to present to that company as well. And you have a nice report, and that report is handed over to that company as well. So they have it all. And for the Dutch persons, as it's international, we don't ask you to do the report in the English language, but the management summary should be in the English language. And we don't expect you to be at the AAA triple English level. The rest should be in correct Dutch language. For the other ones, of course, ICB, correct English language. You probably do that better than I do. Financial plan, you do it individually because this is the only minor where we really check your finance. So in week 10, all your financial plan must be ready. In week 14, you look for the best, and that's your group financial plan, that it's profitable to go in the new country. Export research, that's actually what have you all done. And of course, there's a little bit of personal development as well, and that's your personal file. So this is all you have to hand in. Not that much for 18 weeks, is it? Easy. I think it's easy.
Proper question.
Een question. In Nederland?
Yes, of course.
Welk stuk moest je nou in het Engels schrijven?
Only the management summary of your final report. De samenvatting, management samenvatting, dus eigenlijk heb je een hele rapport gedaan. En dan alleen aan het begin heb je 1,5 pagina's. Oké, dit is het bedrijf, dit is het land, om die redenen gaan we dat doen. En zoveel geld ga je eraan verdienen. Dat in Engels.
Oh ja.
So only for the Dutch and English language, the summary in the English language. Because the company could be a Dutch company, but it could be an American company, it could be a German company, doesn't matter. All is the same. And in your class, one class, we divide it in 5 different teams. Every class has 5 teams. So we start perhaps with 2 Dutch and 2 ICB or 4 ICB. All those classes have those 5 companies. So as a class, as a team, you're competing with another class for the best plan. But within your class, as you have different teams, you can help each other to improve it. So we have some moments there as well that you're going to discuss with the other team. Well, I'm stuck here in my research. So within the class, you're not competing, but outside the class, you're competing with the other ones. That could be nice. 5 companies, minimal 3 branches. The Crea Lab will be a little bit different. Now you have the Crea Lab here with a couple of coaches there. Now you will have per class 1 dedicated coach. Will be there all the time. And if you have an expert lecture, suppose I'm giving a lecture about strategy, I will come to the Crea Lab, to the international boardroom. So we're probably not sitting here, but in another classroom. The lecture will, during the Korea Lab, he will be there. 5 teams, 15 minutes per group. The coach will assign, okay, this is at 9 o'clock, 15 past 9, etc. So then it's direct coaching. If you haven't done anything, he cannot coach you. So be prepared when they come in. 15 minutes left, that could be for a general announcement or whatever, and then he leaves and you're with the coach and can start working. The advantage is, if you have a question about finance and it's not completely clear, and you have a question about finance, more or less the same, and it's clear for you, you can help each other. Next time it will be around. So that's a little bit different. What we do as well, because you've chosen for creative business, there are a lot of branches within it, and we make sure that at least 3 different branches are on the company list. And you can say, okay, within those 2 branches or those 2 companies, I don't want to do my assignment. So actually you make a sort of top 3 list. Yes, I want to be in AV, events and radio, but I don't want to be in concept development or gaming. So that's up to you. And one thing extra, you noticed it well last year, that with some persons you like to work with, and some persons it was once and never again. It happens. We have it as well. No one wants to work with me, that's why they're standing there and I'm here alone. So you're also allowed to say for one person out of your class, I don't want to work with that person. We will not do that anonymously, so everyone will see it. No, that's kidding. No.
It will be anonymous.
It will be anonymous.
Yes,
Yes,
I
you
told you before this. You came in late, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who didn't hear it, the classes will be mixed after the BSR hearings. So at the end of July, you will receive an email from me which class you will be in the second year and which module you will start with.
So if you're CB, you have the advantage of knowing your module, but
Yeah.
not your class. ICB,
You never know.
that's a
Uh,
prize.
Okay, I think it's nice to say, okay, I don't want to specialize myself in those branches because it should be something that's a bit more close to your heart. I want to know more about this one, and one person, okay, never again. We will do that all in a week 1, probably day 1 when you're in school. Then we say, okay, those are the branches, companies, and which one. Because afterwards, then the company will present it to you, and will, of course, if you chosen for company 1 and you for 2, you're only present at the presentation of company 1, of course, which you've already chosen. Okay, next one. We have 5 fixed roles. We expect there will be about 25 persons in the class. The roles we have, like product manager, legal research, financial, and a general manager. For everyone, the role is exactly the same. What we saw in the old curriculum, that if someone was a financial manager, he or she did all the finance. But now you're the manager. So suppose you're the financial manager, your team has to come up with all the work. You do it yourself as well. And in the end, you decide what's in the final product. So suppose you're the legal manager, and they're looking all for the legal stuff. What's about the new company? You do it yourself as well. And you choose the best of them.
It's sort of like you're the final editor in
Yeah.
each of these areas.
Okay, so we all have to
You-
make sure that we know about all the roles, but
Yeah.
the manager will decide which of them came up with best.
Yes.
Put everything together.
Yes, so all 5 group members will do legal work, but your job, if you're legal manager, will be to decide what makes the final cut in the group report.
As a legal manager, you're a financial employee. So you do it all, and then as a manager, act like a manager. Make sure that everyone of them is in time with the deadline, etc., so you can choose. So it needs, like a real management team, that's why we call it the international boardroom. In the end, you're a sort of an advisory company advising this company, and you're the board. You decide what to do, but if you don't have employees, then your colleagues are your employees. If there are problems, you take action, and it will be on a small slide every week. What have you done? What are you planning to do? What problems do you encounter? And for each person as well. So we're not looking in the end for a personal file that's about this. We made sure you will see it next year in the assessment form. It will be like this. This is already a lot. So it's a lot during the classes, a lot of thinking, research, and then you come up, okay, this is the best, and convince them that's the best. In all, you're responsible for the final product. Okay, there are a couple of module leaders. In Rotterdam, it's Paul Oosteen. He is only Dutch, so that makes it easy, because in Rotterdam we only have Dutch persons. In Haarlem, Marco Vlasblom, that's our colleague. He does ICB and CB. And here in Haarlem, as you're so lovely student, in The Hague, you're so lovely all, we both wanted it, and then Maurice said, okay, you do it together. So we have here 2 module leaders, Susanna and me, and we'll see how it goes. Probably will be okay. So actually, you don't have to prepare anything. So it's for me quite simple. Enjoy the summer. You don't have to do anything.
That's good.
And then have fun, of course. Any questions about this brief summary? Yes, please.
Do you already know what kind of companies?
Yes, but we're not going to tell it. Because we're not completely complete. Completely complete, yeah.
But the account management team has this brief that they need to be within certain creative branch sectors.
Yeah.
So all of the companies will in some way be related to creative business.
I think in this case, companies are really, really important. If we're really going to go deep into it, yeah, I'm just crossing my fingers.
It's don't worry. It's not. We have experience in this, from the year 4 module, creative entrepreneurship, from the old curriculum. So we know what sort of information we can expect from the companies and what not.
And also, don't underestimate Susanna, because she's part of the account managers team. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Thank you. We hear you. We will do our best.
Any other questions? Looks clear?
I have just one question that's not about the module, but like, what about our PD coaches? So
Yeah.
we're gonna mix up the class and we're gonna get other PD coaches?
Yes.
It's just that I made a bond with my PD coach. She's like, I'm gonna be here for 4 years, and now she's not. So
Well,
you don't know yet.
you don't
It
know
might be.
yet.
But it's even better if you get another coach. When she promised she will be there for you for 4 years, you can even use 2 coaches.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want mine, I want you.
Okay?
Are we going to get more expert lessons than last year? Or is it all Creative?
So, well, 2 parts of that question. The expert lectures in the CREA lab. So first, this setup is not happening in International Boardroom.
There is no CREA lab.
There is no CREA lab. We will be in a smaller classroom, and you will only meet with the 25 or so students in your one class group. And then you'll sort of have like, in the way that you have a PD coach, right? Each class will be assigned like their coach, and you'll meet with that person multiple times a week, and they're going to sort of be your guide through this process. And we're going to be a little competitive too. So let's say you end up in Björn de Water's class, like he wants his class to be the best at doing all their projects. So it will not be this giant 3-group class setup. It'll be much more intimate, and you'll spend a lot of time with that coach and then with the experts who will drop into those sessions. Robert, do you want to explain how many expert lectures?
Yeah, sure. For research, we have 2 in the beginning, explaining APA again and how can you find international reliable sources. Legal, 2 classes as well, but the legal will be there to help you in the beginning, and there will be at the end as well as an expert in your class that you really think about all the legal aspects. As your coach, he will be there. For strategy, we only have 4 classes, but all the models that you might wanting to use will be on Moodle. So why should I explain a model? Some we will, but some are in a different way. And other classes,
Finance.
finance will be 4 classes in all, and that's really how you work with it.
So it's in total 12 classes over the course of the semester, but then all of those experts, with the exception of research, will also drop into your more lab time with your group of 25 to meet with you as a small group and give you more individualized advice outside of a lecture setting.
Okay, so that doesn't mean that the fact that we work with one coach, that doesn't mean that he's the only person
No.
who's going to be advising.
Yeah.
Now,
Sometimes, like, from every person, at least for me, I really go to a specific person for a specific question, so this still is going to be happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Susanna is your coach in the class and I'm teaching you something about strategy, I will come to your classroom, to your international boardroom, 15 minutes per group. You can ask me questions as a coach.
So you would see me 3 times a week for sessions, and you'd see him once that week, maybe twice for 15 minutes. So it is highly individualized to your group, but shorter period of time with the experts.
So
With
in
a
a
big
week-
question mark on your face. Yeah, I know.
So in a week we only have the boardroom group.
So your week schedule would look something like 3 days a week you'd meet with your coach, your group comes in, and your coach can kind of decide how do they want to use this time to meet with all 5 groups in there. And then in addition to that, you'll have expert coaching from those either financial, legal, or strategy coaches. And then on top of that, every week, particularly in the beginning, you'll probably have 1 to 3 lectures. The lectures will start to phase out after the first part, because then you'll have all the sort of knowledge you need, and you'll just be running and doing.
And with the personal development, there will be a little bit about cross-cultural management. If you give a business card to someone in Asia, don't do it with one hand, do it with 2 hands. Be polite, that sort of things. And cultures are different. The ICB classes already experienced it in working in a group. Those Dutchies like me, we're so direct, and sometimes without any feeling that we say anything. And in some countries it works, in other countries it doesn't work. That sort of things, a little bit about negotiating, all different aspects that are aligned to this product.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Although we're not assessing the personal development work, a lot of the work you're doing in personal development will tie back to giving you skills in our module and in their module.
Yes.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
Claudia.
switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
You start,
Yep.
right?
So, as Meryl mentioned before, all the CB students will for sure start with creative agency. So pay attention and feel free to ask questions in any language. And for the ICB, it's still a big surprise on what the email end of July will say. But anyway, we want to give you a little bit of preview also about the creative agency module. Basically, what you will see, there are a few elements that come back that will remind you of smart productions. Yes, of course, because design thinking and creation and production is the core of this whole study. So there will be some elements coming back, but now, like International Boardroom, we go more deep. So we expect more from you. You have to do more more detailed research, and we start with a more strategic, uncertain, and complex starting point. That can be a problem. It can be a challenge that the client mentions, but it can also be that the client says, I am interested and open for food for thought from insights. Just go and start and find your own way. So we start with a more broader question from the client, and basically the module is split into part 1 and 2, so creative agency 1 and 2. In the first part you will do a lot of user research, then develop ideas, make substantiated concepts from it, then prototype them and test them. So far so good, you have done a little bit of that in Smart Productions, but then we get to the juicy part, the second part, where you really implement it and produce. And that's in total for 20 weeks. This is how we're gonna assess you. Basically a very different type of assessment, partly individual, partly group. Yeah, no surprise, you know that already. Basically here we will assess the concepts and the pitch that you give to the client, But here, that's a big difference. You also need to show us that you know the tools and methods. So it's not about just the doing, but also about showing us that you know about the knowledge behind it, the theory behind it. Therefore, you make cards, no more boring reports, but cards, visual, creative cards. Then this is more relating to the production skills, where you also need to understand, okay, is this concept that I came up with, is it feasible? There are different criteria. Here you work as a group on the production book and plan, and then at the end, a personal justification. So this is quite straightforward. This is what you get, all these points, for in total 20 weeks. This is partly a repetition, because of course you know that from the smart production part, but design thinking, you will walk through all these phases. In our year, we walked more or less until, a little bit into here, but we didn't do proper prototyping and we didn't do proper testing. So now we do it very professional, because you are forming teams and you all become a creative agency. As I mentioned, you do the toolkit cards, feasibility, pitching, and then producing it. And producing either, because it's such an open, complex starting point, no one knows what you're gonna produce, because it all starts with understanding the user. So you might produce an element or the whole concept. We don't know. And it all depends on multiple factors, also what the client wants, what's feasible, what the user wants, etc. So it's more a very starting point, and it can go in many different directions. The second part is more concentrated on the production skills we want to teach you. So you will pitch the concepts to the client, then he will choose either one or a mixture of it, and then you go into full production, create a project plan, then come with all the substantiated research, and then the client has a no-go moment. If you get a go, you start to produce, make a production book, and later on in week 18, more or less, you have an end conversation with a client where you walk him or her or them through your findings.
So I have a question. What do you mean by production book?
That's depending on what your group is going to produce. Think of it as it could be a multimedia campaign that starts with a social media awareness, a teaser video, and then a pop-up installation in 3 major cities, for instance. And then of course, in coordination with the coaches, and there will be, I will explain you details later, but we will guide you, and the client will then also decide. You might produce 1 element or 2 or 3 elements of it. And depending on what you produce, you either produce it or you write a production book about the planning of the pop-up.
If I may add something, so first you write a project plan, and that's what you pitch to the client, and if the client gives a go, then you turn the project plan into a production book. So instead of it being a plan, like, okay, this is the project plan, this is what we want to do, the production book is what you need while producing the actual thing. Okay, so don't worry about this now.
And the product, in that case, it can be a video, it can be a campaign, it can be an event, it can be an app, it can be. So we want to leave it very open, because at the end we are creative business and you're becoming a creative agency. But you will hear all the details later on, what exactly is included in these elements.
I was wondering what happens if the concepts get a no-go. Like, do we need to redo it?
Then you need to revise them based on the feedback, and
Pitch
in coordination with your client, because let's say the 4 of you are a team, then you need to arrange that with the client. And we will of course guide you, and the experts will provide feedback. But let's go for go.
Yeah.
So the approach to it is that you might have heard that from the current second year or other students, that they had something like rookie or newbie. So we did include some core elements. So in a way, we picked the cherries and included that in this module to make it a very enjoyable, but also very active and demanding module. So yes, you will work in a learning company style. So therefore, you as teams, you will all become your own little creative agency, students of 4 to 5. There will be a client fair in the very beginning where you meet the different clients and their assignments. And of course, you need to prepare already for that to see which ones you would like to have. They will meet different student groups and then choose which ones they want to work with. Yeah, and it's a longer collaboration because the whole module is 20 weeks. And Meryl in a second will tell you more about the student management team, because that's a very special element, and we believe that this is very strong and will make it a deeper learning curve for you. A few differences, because you might think, oh, it's like Smart Production 2.0. Yes, to a certain extent it is, that's the whole purpose. But the starting point will be more complex, uncertain, and a strategic question. So it's no more, I'm the client and I would like a 2-minute video for this target group to create this result, because this is already quite framed. Here we go for very broad, very uncertain, very choosy questions. You might have heard about these wicked problems, so really strategic, difficult questions. We now go through the whole design thinking, so including the implementation of it, working in a learning method, and you will be naturally become like a tools hero, because you will on the one hand apply the tools and methods, but you also need to justify, research them, of course everything in APA style, and then present them in a very visual, attractive way. You will become the ownership of this module, because you can either just pass, but it will also be difficult, or you can really make this a very intensive, very joyful, but also demanding module. It all depends on you. And you will be working on smaller teams, because we, a little bit similar to international boardrooms, there are no more Crea labs. You will work mostly with your team, but on top of that, there will be the student management team, and Meryl and I, we will be your coordinators. And then as well, there will be regular meetings with a process coach that helps you in the process, and expert coaches. So it's smaller and more intensive.
Okay, shall I?
This is your part, yeah.
Yeah. One more addition to what Claudia just told. So this module will start with a very important kickoff week. So the first week of Creative Agency will be this kickoff week, in which you will be told who your teammates are, but also you're going to prepare during that week for the client fair that will be at the end of the week already. Okay, so what are we going to do from now? For this module, you need to apply. Okay. You will apply through a Google form that will be sent to you later today. So you will receive an email from me, and you go to the Google form and you apply. Each project team, so you will work in teams of 5 students, each team has 2 fixed roles. One of them is the general manager, the other one is the account manager. I'll explain more. The other 2 or 3 roles are up for you guys to decide what they're going to be. So in the Google form, you can click your preference if you want to be a general manager or an account manager, or you don't care. You just want any role, right? The deadline for application by this form is August 19th. It will also be in the email, but just keep in mind, if you don't apply, you will just be put in a team at random. Okay, so I would make sure you apply. The project teams will be announced during the kickoff week on Monday, September 2nd, for the students who will start first semester. There was something else I wanted to say about that. What did I want? Oh, yes. We're talking about Creative Agency right now, but right now there's a contest amongst all the students to come up with a name for Creative Agency. So it will have a different name, like Rookie or Newbie, but that will also be announced in the kickoff week. What's next? So these are the 2 roles that are fixed for all the student project teams. The general manager, well, I think you're all pretty familiar at this point with what a manager does. He leads, he delegates, That's fun, right? Delegating. And then you signal problems and you take action. The account manager, that's also very important. That's the person that will be in charge of contact with your client, also leads the negotiations between the team and the client, and well, look for new clients and analyze current clients. So if you're interested in any of these two roles, you need to tick a box in the Google form. Okay?
There's a question for that?
Question?
What's wrong with the name Creative Agency?
Good question.
I like it.
I don't know.
I think it's better than Newbie.
Maybe you should mention that in an email.
The contest
Yeah.
could be creative agency.
The thing is, no, I know why. I know why. I have the answer actually. It's back in my brain, but I found it. Because it will also be trademarked and have a website and a logo, and Creative Agency already exists. That was the thing. Yeah.
So it can be a tagline, creative agency of in Holland,
Yeah.
da da da.
But that was the reason. Yeah. Okay, then what? Who has heard of the SMT, Student Management Team? 3 people. Okay, so all of you who will do Creative Agency will be in a student team working for a real client for 20 weeks. One team will be working for me and Claudia. They will be the student management team and they will run this whole enterprise. So all the students apply through the Google form to apply for a student team. But if you're interested, you can apply extra for the student management team. The student management team will work with Creative Agency, so us and Maurice Kemper as their client. It's a full-time job, 5 days a week. You get your own office here in the building. The SMT will be formed before summer break. And also the SMT starts working the week before classes start because they also are in charge of the kickoff week. This is for very motivated students who want to up their management game. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more about coaching people, but also work with a lot of clients, if you're interested in something you can put on your resume as an extra curricular something,
And
you should
LinkedIn,
apply.
of course.
LinkedIn. What are the requirements? If you want to do this, it will also be in the email, the steps you need to take, but we look at the credits that you've obtained in year 1. We also want you to write a motivation letter and send in your CV, and there will be an official job interview next week through Skype because a lot of internationals might already be gone. Are there any questions about this? Yes?
Is this student management team in English? Or?
No, we will have a student management team for CB in Dutch and a student management team for ICB in English.
Okay.
Yeah, Ines.
If someone's part of the SMT but is going to create agency in term 2,
Yeah?
both of so term 2 SMT and term 1 and 2 SMT are starting 26th of August to prepare for the
No,
kickoff?
no. This is a bit,
This would be more like for the CB.
no, this is a bit complicated. Let me try to explain. As I said, the classes will be formed at the end of July, but the SMT needs to be formed now. So if you apply for SMT, if it turns out that your class will start with it in second semester, we just keep your application and there will be another round of interviews at the end of semester 1. Or we ask you if you would be willing to switch classes so that you can start with the first semester. So it's 2 options, okay? What else? The roles and the tasks of the SMT. You will get this PowerPoint in the email later today, so just don't worry about it. Well, it's monitoring the progress of all project teams, it's reporting to the coaches, but also to the coordinators, the preparation of the next semester of Creative Agency, organizing kickoff week, team building activities, organizing drinks, organizing a final show at the end, but also organizing masterclasses, field trips. Well, a lot of important things. You'll also be responsible for the branding of the Creative Agency, so developing the new website, the logo, or getting people to develop it for you, maybe. Stuff like that. Any questions about the tasks of SMT?
It sounds like a lot of work.
It is, but it's
Yeah,
fun. It's
but it's
so
also
much
a
fun.
big learning because you are totally immersed in it. It's a team, and
Yeah.
it's, as you can see on the list here, you will become an expert in event planning, in branding, because we start basically with a new company, you
Account
will work very
management.
directly with us, with the management team of in Holland, eventually with a lot of clients, with other locations. So it's really a
Well, you have to
full-time
also
job.
see it like this. If you want to really broaden your network, this is a good start. Because a normal team works with one client, the SMT works with all the clients. So it's not for everyone, to be honest, but if you feel like this is your calling, please apply. Yes?
Is it actually from 9 to 5 or like
Yes.
you do the work? Yes.
No, it's a 9-to-5 job.
And you get an office as
You
well.
get an office.
Free coffee.
Well, then it sounds like you should not apply.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, and just to make sure, 1 second for you guys, the whole idea of the creative agency for all the teams is that it's not school, it's a job. So in the kickoff week, you form an actual creative agency. We're gonna create an environment for you guys. This is the first floor, right? Yeah. So above here will be a second Crea Lab, and in front of it will be a working environment for the creative agency. So it's more like everybody brings their laptop and comes to work, and not we go to class. So the whole vibe is that we form all these different creative agencies, and there's one agency, the SMT, that's coordinating all the others. Yes?
Yeah, but we'll have to do our the module at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but your client is
We have
us.
expert
Do you
lectures.
really hear SMT? SMT is different than the normal.
SMT does everything the normal teams do. The only difference is their client is not an external client, their client is us.
It's
The
when
module
you
is
go-
the client.
It's when you apply to SMT.
You're not the normal team. Then you're separate. You're the SMT. Guys, if you're interested in this, I would suggest you go upstairs to the 3rd floor. There's the current SMT who made a video for you, so maybe first watch the video. If you have questions, and of course, if someone, has an appointment or has to leave early one day, of course, I'm not going to make you sit there from 9 to 5 like a prison, okay? But it's just to give you a basic overview. It's a job.
It's more about the commitment that this
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
We also still have to do other reports that are not.
Yes?
But just the only difference is that we
Are the client.
are the client.
Organize all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to know what a normal team has to do for their client. They also have to do a lot, right? So you're making it bigger than it is right
So
now.
basically, if you want to go wild, you can create a huge impact there.
Yes.
But it also depends on your input.
Our kind of assignment gonna be.
Your main assignment is running the creative agency, but you will also get a specific question / challenge / problem that you use.
Develop and prototype and all that.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, but that's different. Your development and your prototyping is the whole semester, okay? But don't. This is way too many questions in depth right now. Let's just watch the video that my lovely SMT made. How does that work? Oh, like that.
Module Creative Agency. Students will work in an agile environment of about 20 weeks. It's a journey that begins with a challenging, complex question of the client. Then students will work on the design thinking and focus on creation and production, including a hackathon. And at the end of the module, they will present their solution, which can be a multi-channel campaign to the client.
Have you ever wondered what's it like to organize a masterclass?
Are you a solution-oriented thinker?
Do you know how to deal with demanding clients?
Have you had a troubled student come to you?
If yes to any of these questions.
Become the next SMT member.
From your very own office. Select group of students, we have the opportunity to experience actual office hours while managing and directing all the other students participating in the creative agency module.
This opportunity gives you hands-on experience in the already discovered fields of creative business. Being a part of SMT will boost your resume, broaden your network, and will increase your management and people skills.
So, if you want to be this, you get all the information in the email that we're going to send you later today. After this meeting, you will receive an email. Yes, I've said that 600 times, so great. Application for creative agency, all students. So also if you want to do SMT, also apply through the Google form for a normal team. The deadline is the 19th of August. So you have all summer to think about what you want to fill in there. The application for the SMT, that's only when desired by some of you. You have to email the coordinator your CV, your grade list, and a motivation letter before Monday, which is the 24th of June. I know that's quick, but we need to form this lovely group before summer, so that's why. You send me the grades you do have, and you also send me how many you think you will have at the end of July. Okay? So the deadline for SMT is 24th of June. It will be in the email. The CB students, so the Dutch students, will email to Claudia, which is Claudia, my lovely colleague, the coordinator for the Dutch CB, the international...
En in Nederlands.
In het Nederlands. Yes, you can do that in Dutch. The ICB students reply to me. Is that clear?
Yes.
Let's see. Questions? Yes.
How big will the SMT team be?
Maximum 5.
And
For
there are roles? Right,
Where are
for
the
SMT?
roles?
You can explain it.
It's gone, people. There are
Let's go
roles.
back one.
Okay, so as I said, for the other teams, the roles are up for grabs except for account manager and general manager. In the SMT are fixed roles. You have the general manager, the account manager, the internal and external marketing communications manager, the creative manager, and the financial manager, which is the most popular. Not, but we will make that work. So, yeah, you apply for a specific role if you apply for SMT. Yes? Yeah?
The SMT has free coffee as well as
Free coffee.
And tea?
And tea. And their own office, which I can tell you will be sweet. It will be like in the building outside on the ground floor next to Accu and all the other little companies. So it will be like a real office with real coffee. Yes.
And also to the rest of the class, my roommate was in this year's student management team, and she made the video, and she told me that it's the most interactive, like, fun thing that she did.
Who's your
in
roommate?
school. Yeah.
Diana.
And
Yeah, she made the video.
yeah, like you get a lot of interaction with,
Yeah.
you get the most interaction with your fellow students, and you're like the
Yeah.
boss.
It's for sure extra work and it will be very exhausting, but at the same time you get a lot back.
Yeah.
And
And
she also said that that group was very tight together
Yeah.
because you spent so much time together, and it's really.
Well, I have to say, this
Just help me
SMT,
sell it.
yeah, this SMT we have right now is like the best one I've had in 7 years. So yeah, you're right. They are like the tightest team. They make me not worry at all. So you have large shoes to fill. But yes, yeah.
With the SMT's,
Het mag in Nederlands. Ah, helemaal fijn. Anybody else?
Yeah, about the general assignments.
Yeah,
If it's but like newbie 2.0.
something. It's
Right.
like Smart Productions and Newbie had a baby.
but a beautiful baby.
A beautiful baby.
Well,
I hate babies.
I love babies.
newbie, the groups had to choose like which
Oh, sorry.
I'm
I'm outside of
would
the-
focus on.
Sorry?
The groups had to choose which field they would focus on.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore. No, it's not focused. That's the old Newbie was like a company wanted a video, so the students who signed up for AV made the video. This is not like that. This is creative agencies. So you're all a small creative agency, and what your final product will be, nobody knows at the beginning. So that's the fun thing about it, right?
So also as a reason of that, because we already, well, tortured or however you want to call it, but you already had this very steep learning curve in the first year, working already on 2 real clients with real assignments in the first year, and the current 2 years, the newbie rookie is their first contact with real
Yeah.
clients. So you already, in a way, have accelerated learning. And what you did in behind the scenes, for instance, is, for instance, the assignment that Meryl explained.
Yeah.
So therefore, we basically pumped up. Therefore, we said a beautiful baby because we cherry picked the best from the existing
Yeah.
modules, but made it stronger. Yes, we expect more from you, but we give you also more because you can develop your own skills in a deeper direction.
Just because I'm interested, who is thinking about maybe applying for an SMT position? Wow, great. We sold it.
CB?
CB? Oh no, people. Oh, verkoop dit in je klasse. Sell it. De mensen waarvan je denkt dat ze er geschikt voor zijn en die hier nu niet zijn, You need an SMT because if we don't have an SMT, there's no creative agency. Yes?
I have two questions, sort of.
Yeah.
One is, first, are you allowed to quit if it gets too much?
No. Are you allowed to quit? No, you're not. What do you mean? No, you cannot quit because then you miss 30 credits. Well, yeah, so you can quit,
But
but
you're not allowed to quit and then join another.
no.
But I think it's important that everyone, like, if you want to do this, that you're really committed.
Yes.
Not people who say, oh yeah, I want
No,
to be a
yeah.
boss, and
Ines
then
is right. If
Yeah.
you
after a week you're not, because
if you're doubting,
it's quite complicated.
if
Better
you're-
don't apply.
if you're doubting, do not apply, especially since for the ICB there are so many people who want to, and maybe we give it to a person who doesn't want to then, and then somebody else gets their dreams crushed. Right?
The second question is more, can you more elaborate like on the assignment that you get when you're in the SMT?
Don't worry about that. The main
That's what I am worried
well,
about.
the main SMT assignment is to run the creative agency, the whole module. That's the SMT assignment.
But how are we gonna write a report about that?
You will see. Go to the SMT upstairs and check how they did it. Ask like what was your assignment and how did, for example, the current assignment of the current SMT, which is obviously a different system, but they were to write an advisory report and give an advisory presentation on how to develop the new learning company that you're going to do. So it's more,
Do you think that the SMT is going to miss some knowledge that, I mean, I want to apply, right? But then
Yeah.
if I think about creative agency, you know, what we're meant to learn, I don't see really both things happening at the same time. Like, okay, I know, I think you just need to choose which skills you want to develop, right? Because
yes.
we're not going to be prototyping and
Well, you are.
it's going to be different.
You are
You
actually
will
because
because you have the same assessment. So what I showed you before, the unit of studies, it's the same. You need to make the toolkit cards, the pitch. It's just a different.
yeah.
It's a different
Yeah.
assignment.
What it's like for the SMT, you will make prototypes because you also have to develop the new website, design and develop, and the logo. So it will be, everything you will do will be applicable to the testing. Okay? Enough about that. Any other questions? Everybody excited for year 2? Yay.
Was this useful to have a previous session?
Yes?
Good.
Now all go celebrate your summer.
Oh, before we have one
No.
more slide. Because for those who want to enjoy the summer with some books, especially
This is Claudia.
for design thinking, because I said already many times, this will be a core skill. For the Dutch students, this is the authority. It's Guido Stompf, and he wrote in this book very practical and theoretical everything about design thinking. For the English speakers, this is your book if you're interested more about the story and about how design thinking is applied and how it was born by IDEO in the States many years ago. And if you're more interested in the practical sides about tools, methods that we're going to do later on,